Alien girl ran to me and hid behind my back. The reason will break your heart. Light flowed through its wide glass corridors like artificial sunlight, bouncing off metal walls and alien skin of every color and shape. Ships arrived every minute. Traders argued in dozens of languages. Security drones hovered silently, watching everything. Humans were still new here. They were allowed on the station, but most species treated them like background noise. Useful, harmless, and easy to ignore. Elias Carter knew this well. He stood near one of the cargo walkways, wearing a plain gray uniform with a small human emblem on the chest. His job was simple: log shipments, guide transport crews, and stay out of trouble. He had learned quickly that staying unnoticed was the safest way to survive among stronger, older species. That day started like any other, until the girl ran toward him. At first, Elias only heard fast footsteps, light, uneven, desperate. He turned just in time to see a small alien child pushing through the crowd. She was no taller than his chest. Her skin was pale blue, marked with dark patterns like cracks in ice. Large silver eyes scanned the station wildly, full of fear. One of her arms was bleeding, wrapped poorly in torn fabric. People stepped aside. No one helped. Some looked annoyed, others looked curious. A few looked amused. The girl's eyes locked onto Elias. She did not slow down. She ran straight at him and hid behind his back, gripping his jacket with shaking fingers. Elias froze. His heart slammed against his ribs as her small body pressed against him. He could feel how thin she was, how light, how afraid. The station noise seemed to lower, as if the air itself was holding its breath. Then the pursuers arrived. 3 tall aliens in dark armor pushed through the crowd. Their species was known for strict authority and cold logic. Their eyes focused immediately on the girl. One of them spoke, voice amplified by a translator collar. "Human, step aside. That unit belongs to us." Unit. Elias felt his stomach tighten. "She's not a unit," Elias said before he even realized he was speaking. His voice sounded small compared to theirs, but he did not move. The girl's grip tightened. "She is under our jurisdiction," another alien said. "She fled lawful supervision." People around them watched closely now. Some whispered, others recorded. Elias swallowed. "I don't know your laws," he said carefully, "but she's scared. And she's hurt." "That is irrelevant," the first alien replied. "Move." Elias hesitated. He had been trained to avoid conflict. Humans could not afford trouble here. One wrong move could cost his job or worse. But when he looked down slightly, he saw the girl's eyes peeking from behind him. They were filled with pure terror. Not anger, not rebellion, just fear. Something inside Elias shifted. "No," he said. The word surprised even him. The alien stiffened. "You refuse a lawful order?" one asked. Elias took a slow breath. "I refuse to hand over a scared child without knowing why she's bleeding." The crowd murmured. This was not normal. Humans rarely spoke back. The alien leader activated a wrist device, clearly calling for station security. "This human is interfering with sanctioned procedure." The girl made a soft sound, almost a sob. Elias bent slightly, speaking quietly so only she could hear. "It's okay. You're safe right now." He wasn't sure if that was true. Security drones arrived within seconds, floating between Elias and the armored aliens. Station officers followed, their expressions tense. "What's the situation?" one officer asked. "She is stolen property," the alien leader said immediately. "The human is obstructing recovery." The officer turned to Elias. "Sir, step aside." Elias looked around. No other human was nearby, no backup, no support, just him. "She ran to me," he said. "She chose me." The officer frowned. "That doesn't change." "She's bleeding," Elias interrupted. "Has anyone even checked her injuries?" The officer hesitated. Medical scans flashed briefly over the girl. The results caused a flicker of discomfort on the officer's face. "She has untreated wounds," the officer admitted. That happens, the alien leader said flatly. Discipline is not painless. Elias clenched his fists. Discipline, he repeated. The girl shook her head slightly behind him, tears sliding down her cheeks. She didn't run because she's disobedient, Elias said. She ran because she's afraid. The alien leader leaned closer. Human, you do not understand our systems. Then explain them, Elias replied. Explain why a child looks like this. Silence spread through the crowd. The alien leader spoke slowly. Our species values efficiency. Only the strong contribute, the weak are corrected. Or removed, another alien added calmly. The words hit Elias like a punch. He felt the girl tremble. Without thinking, Elias stepped half a step back, fully placing himself between her and them. No, he said again. Louder this time, the station officer stiffened. Sir, this could cause diplomatic. I know, Elias said. But I also know this, humans don't give children back to people who hurt them. That sentence echoed louder than any shout. The crowd reacted. Some aliens scoffed. Others looked uncomfortable. A few stared at Elias with something new in their eyes. The alien leader tilted his head. You would risk your species standing for one defective child. Elias looked down at the girl. She looked up at him, hope fighting through fear. She's not defective, he said. She's alive. The alien leader straightened. You are making a mistake, human. Maybe, Elias replied, but it's one I can live with. The girl pressed her face into his back, her small hands gripping tighter. For the first time since humans arrived on Helix 9, the station saw something unexpected. A human saying no, not with weapons, not with threats, but with a body standing in the way. The security officer finally spoke. We will delay transfer until a full review. The alien leader's eyes narrowed. This will be remembered. So will this, Elias said quietly. As the aliens withdrew, the tension slowly eased. The crowd began to disperse, buzzing with conversation. The girl remained where she was. Elias crouched slightly and turned his head. You're okay for now, he said gently. She nodded, wiping her eyes. In broken translated words, she whispered, You protect young. Elias felt his throat tighten. Yes, he said, we try. And in that moment, without knowing it, Elias Carter had taken the first step toward changing how the galaxy saw humanity forever. The holding room was quiet. Too quiet. Soft white lights glowed from the ceiling, and the walls were smooth with no sharp edges. The room was designed to calm frightened beings, but fear does not disappear just because a room looks safe. The alien girl sat on the edge of a low medical bed. Her feet did not touch the floor. Her hands rested in her lap, fingers twisting together again and again. Elias stood a few steps away, unsure what to do. A human doctor moved carefully around the girl, using a scanner that hummed softly. The girl flinched every time it came close. It's okay, Elias said gently. She won't hurt you. The doctor gave him a small nod and slowed her movements. She's malnourished, the doctor said quietly. Old injuries, some healed wrong, some never treated. Elias felt anger rise in his chest, slow and heavy. Can you help her? He asked. Yes, the doctor replied. But if she's returned, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. The girl looked up at Elias. They come back, she asked in broken translated words. Elias crouched so he was at her eye level. Not right now. Her shoulders relaxed slightly, but the fear did not leave her eyes. Station security stood outside the room, not guarding the girl, guarding the situation. News of what happened had spread fast. Humans standing up to a ruling species was rare. Humans protecting an alien child was almost unheard of. The station council demanded answers. The alien delegation demanded compliance. And the human embassy was suddenly very awake. A human diplomat named Mara Holt arrived less than an hour later. She wore a dark blue jacket and a tired expression, but her eyes sharpened when she saw the girl. She's just a child, Mara said softly. Yes, Elias replied. That's the problem. Mara listened as Elias explained everything. The chase. The words unit and defective. The way the girl had hidden behind him without hesitation. She chose you, Mara said. She didn't choose me, Elias replied. She chose safety. Mara looked at the girl again. What's her name? The girl hesitated, then answered quietly. The translator struggled, but the meaning came through. Sierra, Mara smiled. Sierra, that's a good name. Sierra did not smile back, but she didn't look away either. The alien delegation arrived soon after. They entered the council chamber with calm confidence. Tall, controlled. Certain that this situation would end the same way all others had, with humans stepping aside. Elias was not allowed in the chamber, but he watched through the glass wall with Sierra seated beside him. She held onto his sleeve as if letting go would make everything disappear. The alien leader spoke clearly. The human interfered with lawful process. The child must be returned. Mara responded calmly. We requested a delay for medical and legal review. There is nothing to review, the alien said. Our methods are efficient. Emotional attachment clouds judgment. Mara leaned forward. She is injured, she is frightened, and she ran. That proves instability, the alien replied. Weakness must be corrected early. Elias felt Sierra press closer. Mara's voice hardened. In human history, we once believed similar things. The chamber grew quieter. We tested children, Mara continued. We punished them to make them strong. We abandoned the weak, and it nearly destroyed us. The alien leader tilted his head. Yet your species survived. Yes, Mara said, because we stopped. A ripple passed through the chamber. The alien leader activated a display. Images appeared, charts, data, survival rates. Our system produces optimal outcomes, the alien said. Emotion is inefficient, Mara stood. Then explain why your child ran to a human. The alien did not answer immediately. Elias looked down at Sierra. Her eyes were fixed on the chamber, wide and unblinking. She told me, Elias said softly. Why she ran? Mara turned. What did she say? Elias hesitated. Then spoke clearly. She said humans protect the young. The words echoed. A murmur spread among observers of other species. Some looked confused, others uncomfortable. That is not unique, the alien leader replied. No, Mara said, but it is rare. The alien leader's eyes narrowed. This discussion is unproductive. Return the child or face sanctions. Trade limits, another alien added. Docking restrictions, isolation. The threat hung heavy in the air. Mara closed her eyes briefly. Humans were still fragile here. Still building trust. Still learning the rules of a galaxy that did not care about feelings. But rules had never been enough for humans. Mara opened her eyes. We request asylum. Silence. Asylum, the alien leader repeated. For Sierra, Mara said, under human protection. That is unacceptable. Then deny it formally, Mara replied, and explain to the Galactic Council why a child begging for safety was refused. The alien leader paused. This was not how things were supposed to go. Outside the chamber, Sierra tugged Elia's sleeve. They take me, she asked. Elias shook his head. Not today, she looked down. They say I fail. You didn't fail, Elias said firmly. She tilted her head. I hurt too much. Elias felt his chest tighten. Hurt does not mean weak, he said. It means you survived. Sierra looked at him for a long moment, then slowly nodded. Inside the chamber, the alien delegation withdrew to confer. Minutes passed, then more. The tension stretched thin. Finally, the alien leader returned. Temporary delay granted. Medical observation only. Mara nodded. We accept. It was not victory, but it was time. Time mattered. As they left the chamber, Elias felt something shift in the station. Whispers followed them. Eyes lingered, not mocking, curious. Sierra walked beside Elias instead of hiding now, still close but standing. In the medical wing, the doctor brought clean clothes and food. Sierra stared at the meal as if unsure it was real. You can eat, Elias said gently. She reached out slowly, then ate quickly, like it might vanish. Elias watched her and felt something deep and painful. No child should eat like that. Later, when the lights dimmed, Sierra sat on the bed while Elias stood nearby. Why human help? She asked quietly. Elias thought for a long time. Because once, he said, we forgot how, and it cost us everything. Sierra listened carefully. Outside the room, unseen by Elias, two alien observers watched through the glass. One human, the first said, challenging tradition. The child ran, the second replied. That matters. For the first time in many cycles, a question spread through the station. What if humans were not weak? What if they were dangerous in a different way? And what if one small child had just shown the galaxy something it tried very hard to forget? The delay did not calm the station. It made everything worse. News of the human asylum request spread beyond Helix 9 within hours. Messages crossed star systems. Councils argued. Observers watched humans with new interest. A child had run. A human had stood still. That was enough to disturb an old order. Elias felt the pressure everywhere he went. Conversations stopped when he passed. Some aliens stared with open dislike. Others looked thoughtful, even uncertain. Sierra noticed it too. She stayed close to Elias, but she was changing. She slept more deeply now. She ate slowly instead of in panic. The fear was still there, but it no longer ruled her every movement. Still, she asked the same question every day. They come. Elias always answered the same way. Not today. But he knew not today would not last forever. The human embassy called an emergency meeting. Mara stood before a small group of human officials and advisors. The room was secure, but tension filled every corner. The ruling council is furious, Mara said. They see this as a challenge. Because it is, someone replied. They are threatening economic pressure, Mara continued. They believe humans will back down. Elias sat quietly at the end of the table. They think we value access more than values, Mara said. And do we? Another asked. Silence followed. Then Elias spoke. If we give her back, he said, we teach the galaxy who we are. All eyes turned to him. We tell them that our rules matter more than our children, he continued. Even when the child isn't human. Mara studied him carefully. You understand the cost, Elias nodded. I understand the cost of doing nothing too. The room grew quiet again. Finally, Mara said, humanity did not survive by being silent. She activated a display. Tomorrow, she said, we speak before the Galactic Council. The council chamber was larger than any room Elias had ever seen. Seats rose in wide circles, filled with beings from dozens of species. Light shifted colors as translation systems adjusted to different eyes. Sierra sat beside Elias, her small hand resting on his arm. She looked up at the vast room, eyes wide. Many, she whispered. Yes, Elias said, but you're not alone. The ruling species stood together at the center, calm and certain. They believed this would end quickly. Mara stepped forward. Honored Council, she began, we speak today not in anger but in responsibility. The alien leader responded smoothly. Humans interfere with internal systems. This is unacceptable. Mara nodded. Then let us speak plainly. She gestured, and images filled the chamber. Not weapons, not threats. History, human cities in ruin, children working in factories, war zones, refugees. We were not always protectors, Mara said. We once believed suffering made us strong. The council watched in silence. It did not, she continued. It made us cruel. And it nearly ended us. The alien leader scoffed. Emotion clouds reason. Mara looked directly at him. No, emotion informs responsibility. She turned to the council. This child ran. She did not calculate survival rates. She did not analyze efficiency. She ran to the only species that would stand between her and pain. The chamber murmured. The alien leader raised a hand. One anomaly proves nothing. Mara nodded again. Then allow her to speak. Gasps rippled through the room. Sierra froze. Elias felt her grip tighten. You don't have to, he whispered. Sierra looked up at him. Her voice shook, but her eyes were steady. I try, she said quietly. With slow steps, Sierra moved forward. The translator adjusted her words for the chamber. "They say pain makes strong," she said, "but pain make empty." The room was silent. "I fail test," she continued. "Not fast, not hard, I cry." She looked around, eyes shining. "I run, humans stand." Her small voice echoed through the massive chamber. The alien leader stiffened. "This is emotional manipulation." Mara did not respond. She did not need to. Other species were watching now, really watching. An elder representative of another race spoke. "Does your system allow choice?" The alien leader paused. "Choice is inefficient." The elder tilted his head. "So is fear." Another voice joined. "If children flee, is that strength?" Questions spread like cracks in stone. The ruling species had ruled through certainty, and certainty was breaking. Elias felt something shift again, not victory, but momentum. The council recessed for deliberation. Hours passed. Sierra sat quietly beside Elias, exhausted but calm. "Did I do wrong?" she asked softly. "No," Elias said. "You did brave." She considered that. "Brave hurt." "Sometimes," Elias replied, "but brave also changes things." The council reconvened. The alien leader spoke with less certainty than before. "This matter has escalated beyond one child." "Yes," Mara agreed, "because it was never just one." She took a breath. "Humanity makes this declaration," she said clearly. "Any child who seeks human protection will be protected." The chamber erupted. Sanctions were threatened. Warnings issued. Accusations shouted. Mara did not raise her voice. "We will not force our values on others," she said, "but we will not abandon children who run to us." The alien leader stared. "You would risk isolation," Mara answered without hesitation. "Yes." Silence followed, not anger, respect. The council reached a decision. The alien leader spoke again stiffly. "The child will not be reclaimed." Sierra's breath caught. "Her species is advised to review internal practices," the leader continued. "Further incidents will invite scrutiny." It was not justice, but it was change. Sierra turned to Elias, eyes wide. "I stay." "Yes," he said, smiling softly. "You stay." The chamber slowly emptied. But something remained, a memory, a moment when humans did not conquer, they refused. As Elias and Sierra left the chamber, an alien observer whispered to another, "They are dangerous." The other replied, "Because they care." And for the first time, the galaxy understood something important. Humanity's strength was not its ships, it was its no. The galaxy did not change in one day, but it did not forget. The Council's decision echoed far beyond Helix 9. Official records called it a special case. Quiet messages called it a mistake, and private discussions called it something else entirely. A crack. Elias felt the aftershocks everywhere. Human ships were inspected more closely. Trade negotiations slowed. Invitations were delayed, but no one touched Sierra. She remained under human protection, living in a small residential wing near the human embassy. The room was simple, soft lights, warm colors, and a window that showed the endless stars. At night, Sierra sat by the glass watching ships drift past. "They go far," she said once. "Yes," Elias replied. "Someday maybe you will too." She looked at him. "With humans." "If you want," he said. She nodded. Life slowly found a new rhythm. Sierra attended human learning sessions. She struggled with language at first, but she was curious. She asked many questions. Not just how, but why. Why humans helped strangers. Why humans protected children that were not their own. Why humans apologized when they made mistakes. Elias answered as best he could. "Because we learned the hard way," he often said. The human embassy worked quietly but constantly. Mara pushed for new legal language. Not loud demands, just careful changes. A new term appeared in galactic records, voluntary minor asylum. It was limited, restricted, watched closely, but it existed. Other species noticed. A few cycles later, another incident occurred. A young being from a different species refused a test and locked itself in a cargo bay with a human engineer. The engineer did not force the door open. He waited. The case never reached the council. It was quietly resolved. Elias heard about it days later. He felt something warm in his chest. Sierra noticed his smile. "Good?" she asked. "Yes," Elias said. "Very good." Not everyone was pleased. The ruling species that once claimed Sierra sent formal complaints. They accused humans of spreading instability. Mara responded calmly. "We are not changing your systems, your children are." That answer traveled far. Years passed. Sierra grew. Her body changed. Her movements became confident. Her eyes held less fear and more thought. She learned quickly, absorbing human ideas and alien cultures with equal interest. She became fluent in several languages. She also remembered. One evening she sat with Elias looking at an old image of Helix 9. "You stood," she said quietly. "Yes," Elias replied. "Why?" she asked. Elias thought carefully. "Because no one should grow up believing they are disposable," Sierra nodded. "My people believed that." "They believed wrong," Elias said. Sierra became something rare, a bridge. She worked as a translator first, helping humans and other species understand each other. But she did more than translate words. She explained fear. She explained pain. She explained hope. When alien officials dismissed human values as emotional, Sierra spoke. "When you do not feel," she said calmly, "you repeat pain forever." Some listened. Some did not, but no one ignored her. Eventually, Sierra was invited to speak before the council again. This time not as a child, as a representative. Elias watched from the gallery as she stood tall, her voice steady. "I was called weak," she said, "but I lived." The chamber was silent. "I was called defective," she continued, "but I learned." She looked around. "Humans did not save me. They stood so I could save myself." That statement was recorded in official history. The ruling species quietly adjusted their practices, not publicly, not proudly, but measurably. Survival tests softened. Support systems appeared. Failure no longer meant removal. The galaxy did not praise humans, but it adapted. Elias remained a simple worker. He refused promotions. He stayed near the docks where ships came and went. One day a human child asked him, "Are aliens scary?" Elias smiled. Some are kind, most are learning." "And Sierra?" the child asked. Elias looked across the station. Sierra was laughing with a group of mixed-species children. "She's proof," he said. "Of what?" the child asked. "That kindness travels farther than fear." Years later, when humans were no longer considered weak, historians tried to find the moment it began. Some pointed to trade successes. Some pointed to military deterrence. But many pointed to Helix 9, to a human who did not move, to a child who ran, to a species that said no, not with force but with presence. On her final day before leaving Helix 9 for a diplomatic mission, Sierra stood behind Elias one last time. "Remember?" she asked. "I do," Elias replied. "You were shield," she said. "You were brave," he answered. She smiled. The galaxy would never fear humans because they were powerful. The galaxy would fear them because when a child cried, humanity answered, and it never stepped aside again.